Controlling light is one of those hurdles and learning curves that a photographer and videographer has to get through, has to master, because when you're able to control the light, you have a designated look. Like right now, I'm controlling the light. I have a designated look. I'm doing my best not to have any light back behind me, but I am illuminated. The light that I have above me is pointing straight down. It's not pointing at me, it's pointing straight down so that there's not a lot of splash or anything behind me, which uh, it can paint the picture. Like I want the focus to be in a certain spot. So right now the focus is on me. And that's how I decided to control that light. But there's so much to go into it. Like I'm using the Black Magic camera app and I'm able to monitor it here from a different phone. I have the auto ISO and auto exposure turned off because I don't want it to continuously auto gate and then the background gets lighter and then I get darker and lighter every time I move. It is just a way to control the light. Just like that light, I have set to 20%, and I believe the let's check on this phone over here. The what do I have the white balance to? Well, I have the color temperature to 25K and it's at 20%. I'm not sure. Maybe I need to turn the brightness down. No, brightness is down. So it should pick it up there on screen. And this is the newer app. As y'all have been following along, there's been a lot of content with newer and their lights and me updating my systems and just getting everything just right and perfect. Like I have what I film externally, whether it's for Bear Independent, for Grindstone Ministries, a lot of that stuff, especially the outside stuff, I don't have to worry about controlling the light because usually the light is from the sun. I have to control how the light gets into my lens, or once it gets into my lens, how I'm going to uh, distribute it or how I'm going to record it. Is it going to be overblown? Is the white balance correct? Is the color temperature correct? Am I just going to go the easy route and just keep everything on automatic and I'll fix it later in post when certain colors are blown out or washed out and it looks all gray? That's something that has to happen all the time. A few of you, if you've dealt with photography or videography or digital photography for that matter, you know about raw images. Well, with video files, it's on most cell phones now. You can do raw video, or you can set a codec or a LUTs, or it gets really complicated. I'm not there yet to to say that I have a LUTs. A LUTs, I don't even know what the acronym means for LUTs, but well, actually, I have the Google machine. Let's see. LU, no, LTZ? No, LTS. No. LU. LUT. LUT. Let's see. A lookup table. That's what it is. I should remember that. That I should know. A LUT in well in yeah in photography or videography, it's called a lookup table. So when your camera takes a picture, it will capture an image as it sees it, and it may not be what you want it to look like. So let's say, well, I have on a gray shirt right now, and my beard, uh, my beard is has grays in it. But if I wanted my skin tone to look a little bit different, you don't want the the editing process to change my skin tone, my beard color, and my t-shirt color. No, with a LUTs or a lookup table, it'll take my skin tone and then change that to what I wanted while keeping everything else the same. Or if I wanted my shirt to be more brilliant, bright, and vivid, but I didn't want my skin tone to be blown out or a couple of shades off, you would use a LUT to straighten that out or orchestrate the image or the video on how you want it to look. So that uh, that is one part of light control. And another part of light control is having lights uh, all around you, trying to illuminate you or trying to illuminate the scene. Uh, was it one or two videos back? I started playing around with here in my office to have a light going behind me that will give some more depth perception in the image as opposed to it just being a dark or black background like this. And it's kind of difficult to do without splashing light and all types of stuff. Like what I ended up doing is this piece of cardboard with my RGB 62 by Newer, and I just took some cardboard, shaped it around here, threw some tape on it, and now I have a snoot where the light can't splash out this way. All the light has to come directly out of here, as you can see, just like that. So I was playing around with this. Then I went on a 3D print. Well, I started searching 3D printed files and stuff to see if there was a possibility. Well, no, rewind some. I started looking for honeycombs to purchase, and then I thought, well, couldn't find one, especially not for this light. And I ended up looking, just doing a Google search, and found some honeycombs that can be 3D printed. Now, this is what a honeycomb is. If you don't know what that is, it's a light control device. So uh, your light will spread out far and wide, but this will focus it exactly where you want it to go. There will be very minimal bleed out, and this is a way that you can control the light. So reached out to my brother DR. He has a 3D printer, and I I sent him a couple of messages saying like, "Hey, I have this idea. I'm wondering if you would be able to run this off." He was like, "Ah, yeah, I think I can." And I didn't think it was going to be a really quick process. But the next day, didn't see him. Ended up running into his wife, and then she was like, "Oh, Dr. had these just for you," with her happy, bubbly self. And I was like, "Oh, he got them done quick and in my favorite color." So here is the base for the honeycomb. As you can see, it's a newer RGB 61. That's the version before this. I think the version the without the app access, so you can't control the light from the app. And it's a three-piece setup right here. So there's a honeycomb, that's the bracket in between, and this is the base that actually connects to the light. So This is the light, and it just clips on because where are, if we go over here, this diffuser right here is what came with the light, and you don't get any light control. You just get a softer light with this diffuser. There's no direction. Now it's kind of weird that they put a diffuser when the light itself already seems and feels like it has a diffuser on it. So here's the mid part. Where is the clip? So you just clip that right on there. And then the honeycomb itself, it goes on there, but it's really loose. I'm going to have to do something about that. He told me that when he made it, you were able to adjust the thickness of everything, but he didn't want it to, he wasn't sure how it was going to fit on the light. So he didn't want to make it too tight so it didn't work, or too loose so it didn't work. So he got it to the best that he can. And I'm thinking, instead of gluing this, I might just tape it up. I don't know. But let me show you what the difference is with the light. Go back to the newer app. So turn this light on remotely. It's at 20%, just like that light up there is at 20%. So put that on my head, and then you can see behind me how much spill that light has. Now, remember, the honeycomb isn't on there, and you can see back behind me, and I put the honeycomb on, and now you can see how the honeycomb directs the light going straight back. There's very little spill on there. It's not as tight as a like a little tiny snoot, which might be a 3D printer project that I'm going to have DR try and do later on. But right now, as you see it, it's nice and controlled. Now, remember, this is at 20%. Now, if I take it off, that's just at 20%. It's not 100%. That's at 20%. And you see how much bleed off it is. And even with that, you have this much of the frame of the honeycomb covering the light. So if this wasn't on here, it would even bleed out more. So this is almost like a snoot. Then with the honeycomb on it, you have more control. Now, there's so many different things that you can do with a honeycomb, a light with a honeycomb or a snoot. You can blast light in a certain direction and it won't bleed over and mess up a scene. So, like right now, this light is going, you can see the honeycomb and the light coming out, and it's only going onto my face. There's a little bleed off on my shirt, but not by much. But if I take the honeycomb off, you see how much light bleeds off. It's really not usable. So have that back on there. It's amazing for just to have the technology to 3D print something like this with some plastic. You don't have to order anything if you have the machine, which is great. So now I think I'm going to try just with some tape, which I have some right here on my desk. Like, why wouldn't I have some Gorilla Tape and a SOG that y'all may not have ever seen? I'm not sure if I ever did a proper video on this. This is my power shears from SOG. Opens up just like that. So let's get some tape. And I'm not going to need much. I think I am, how am I going to do that? Maybe about right here. Less than an inch. Ooh, dropping everything now. So where did that go? I'm not sure. If I go around the outside to the inside, so I'm going to cut this in half because this is fairly thick tape. Don't drop it. Let's see. I'm going to place it on the outside, go around to the inside, just on two different sides, and see how that works. I may have to do 4. So as you can see, I have tape up there, tape down there, and if I put it on, it starts to get a little bit snug, but will it still go on the frame base? That is a big question. Still locks into the frame base, and there's no rattle. So I'm going to do that again for the other side. Well, other 2 sides, because it's a 4-sided shape, which you could call a square, but it does have rounded corners, so still going to call it a square. So now, whoa, dropped it on the light. You can't see, but I just dropped that on the light. I have to peel that off. So on the outside to the inside, come on, tape. And here we go with that. Now let's see. That is tighter, but I'm wondering if it's going to be tight enough. Yes, it's not going anywhere. Still could pull it off fairly easy. Maybe I might do a little bit extra to make sure that it stays on there. But if it's on a tripod, I don't expect it to move or fall off. Or if I have it up here, I don't think that it's going to fall off while filming. So this part going on here, come on. That's on there, nice and secure. And it's no longer rattling. Get this piece on there. It's snapped on. Nothing's rattling. It's not coming off. I can still pull everything apart. I think tape is the win. And now I have a honeycomb for both of my RGB 62s. So that's about it. Thank you to my brother DR. There's going to be more reviews, more playing around with light. Like this one is going to be up here, casting light behind me. Actually, I may end up using both. Whoa, almost dropped it. I may end up using both of these. Light wasn't supposed to come on yet. Hey, let's turn that off from the app. So having one as my key light with same color temperature that's on me right now, and then the other one projecting that wisteria color that I like so much to the back wall to, like I said, getting that separation. But again, thank you to my brother DR for 3D printing this. Thank you for whoever designed it and thought that someone would need a honeycomb like this. I'm just going to have to put them to use. because playing with light is fun, but you want to master it so you're not in the middle of recording and you got to change everything up. No one will like that. So that's about it. Thank y'all for watching. Have a blessed one. Shalom.